Ambassador, good to have you here in person.
Thank you.
It's hard to believe it's been a month since we last spoke in the wake of the horrific attack on your country. I want to tap into some of your experience here, because before you were a diplomat, you were in the military. The White House said on Friday, in the coming week, the Israeli military will have more of a tactical focus on the ground campaign to clear out specific areas. Are we moving into a new phase of this war?
So let me explain what we're up against. Gaza is probably the biggest terror complex in the world. You have tens of thousands of armed terrorists, tens of thousands of rockets. We estimate over 500 kilometers of tunnels, terror tunnels with rockets, all their leadership, command and control structure. This is what we're up against, and we have to uproot it, because if we do not, they will strike again and again, and they're saying it publicly. This is a very complicated military operation in a densely populated area, and we're trying to move the population away from that war zone. We are moving very slowly, very deliberately, but our operation, we believe, is effective and will continue.
There are still 400,000 people in the north of Gaza, according to the U.S., the area you say you're trying to clear out. But your military has encircled Gaza City. It has killed a lot of leaders of Hamas and praise that as success. So at what point do you declare success? And at what point do you stop this aerial campaign and move into more strategic tactics?
First of all, most of our campaign right now is carried out by ground forces. It's not an air campaign. That was the first phase. Now, I'm not going to put a time frame on this war. We did not start this war. We did not want this war. But we cannot stop before we dismantle this terror machine, or else, as I said, we'll strike again and again. And we have to make sure that when this ends, they are unable to strike again the way they did on October 7th. I think everybody in Israel is united around this goal.
Your prime minister said no ceasefire without the return of hostages. How close are we in those negotiations to get hostages freed?
We are making every effort to get hostages released. And when people talk about a pause in the fighting, we are all for a pause that would allow for the release of hostages. Unfortunately, I'll explain the humanitarian issue, but unfortunately, it is not our impression that Hamas is serious about releasing them. They are playing for time. They're trying to stop our pressure and rearm and regroup themselves. When we see that they are serious about it, then we're all in. Nobody has to urge us. Most of the kidnaps are Israelis, and our government is responsible to the families. So nobody has to urge us on this.
But the White House has said it was a test case and a successful one to have those two Americans and then those two Israelis released. Why do you think hostage talks are not successful now?
Because Hamas is playing for time, because Hamas is trying to stop our military efforts. And I think the more pressure we put on them, the more chances there are that they may agree to release hostages.
So according to the U.S.,